Hi, folks. Andrew here. Top fitness strategies. I am the face who runs the place. We got a great interview coming at you today, as usual. I find these great people makes myself look better, I think. But these great people are great on their own, and this is no exception. Sara is fantastic. My guest today is Sara Banta. Sara is a renowned certified supplement expert celebrated for her dedication to empowering individuals to achieve optimal health through the transformation power of cutting edge natural supplements, DNA based nutrition, and lifestyle changes. As the founder of the award winning and cutting edge brand Accelerated Health Products, Sara has established herself as a trailblazer in the health and wellness industry, pioneering innovative solutions to support holistic well being. With a passion for educating and inspiring others, Sara hosts the top 10 health podcast, the Accelerated Health TV and radio show, where she shares her wealth of knowledge and expertise with a global audience. Through her engaging and insightful discussions and expert guests, she offers invaluable insights into the latest trends, research, breakthroughs, health, and nutrition. And I'm going to bring her on stage with me right now. Sara, welcome aboard.
Hi, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so a lot has transpired over the last couple of days between me and Sara, technology-wise. So if I seem a little on edge, it's because I want everything to go perfectly here. Okay, totally on my fault. Everything else here. I saw Sara on several different interviews, and of course, she has her own podcast, TV shows, videos, all that great stuff, and she's fantastic at what she does. Today, I want to focus on supplements, detoxing, gut health, stuff like that. But Sara, first, welcome to Top Fitness Strategies. Tell us a little bit about yourself and who Sara is.
Oh, goodness. Well, I had my own pain to purpose story with a lot of gut issues, trouble getting pregnant, PCOS, heavy metal toxicity, and that led into my son had leukemia at the age of 9, and I am a mom of 3. Each one of my kids has had health issues of some sort. All kids do. And so it just sparked that passion over health and what is the root cause. And what we've found is that if you take care of the root cause, all of the issues kind of go away. So it's not one medication that takes care of one organ. It's what is the root cause, and all of the issues with every organ will go away. Whether it's fertility issues, brain fog, anxiety, depression, building muscle after 50, menopausal symptoms, all of that stuff. And the problem, Andrew, is in our toxic world, things have become so much more convoluted and difficult to pinpoint because there's so many factors. And for instance, I just did a podcast on microplastics. Well, microplastics is one thing that's causing issues in the body. There's 1,000 other things. We're in this world where the spike protein from COVID from the last 4 years is the gift that keeps on giving, that is still causing so many issues in people: unexplained weight gain, liver issues, cancers going through the roof, Alzheimer's going through the roof. Menstrual cycles for women are getting worse. Menopausal symptoms are getting worse. All of these things. And this is a factor we didn't even have just 4 years ago. And then you've got the processed foods that take up about 70% of the typical American diet. Those processed foods are not real food. So if you take nothing more away from this conversation, start eating whole foods. I don't care if it's carbs, fats, or proteins. Eat whole foods. If it's got a package or an ingredient list, you want to get it out of your pantry and your fridge. So when I think about fitness, I've always been an athlete. I was on a volleyball team throughout high school. I played with Misty May, who many of you might know. She's an 3-time Olympian. I was not the Olympian on the team, but I got to play with her. And I also rode crew. And so since my 4th grade years, I was always an athlete, and it's a big part of my life.
Wow.
I always valued strength and fitness, and for the mental aspect and for obviously physical health. 3 kids, they're all athletes. They all row. It's just part of our lives. And with saying that, when you get older, things aren't so easy anymore, right? It's funny.
Oh, don't I know it?
Yeah, you can't get away with eating what you were eating and still working out. You can't get away with drinking alcohol before a morning workout. You can't build muscle as easy, especially if you're a woman after perimenopause. It is
Hmm.
really tough building that muscle up. So you women out there, hold on to that muscle if you're less than 50, and value it, because that muscle is the organ of longevity. That is what's going to keep you alive. And there are some tricks and tips that we can go over on how to build muscle at an older age, and not do it with building or gaining fat at the same time. You know, a lot of people say, well, if you're going to build muscle, you got to be okay with having a little more fat on your body, and then you do a cut. Well, I'm into lean bulking. I'm into possibly losing fat and building muscle at the same time.
Wow, man, you open up so many threads with that. I have a list of questions that I'm going to ask you. I might not even get to them because you open up so many different threads there. My first thing I wrote down as you're talking here, I've heard of this term in the past, but I never really gave it much attention. And then I noticed it on several other of your podcasts and your writings and your website and things of that sort. You mentioned it. What is heavy metal toxicity? If I'm even saying that word right, toxicity.
Yeah. So
What is that?
at my rock bottom, I did a heavy metal test, and it's a urine test where they take your urine over a 24-hour period. I was through the roof on lead, aluminum, and mercury. And these toxins are in our environment. They're in our food. They're in our water. They were talking about, I mentioned microplastics. They're talking about how microplastics are an astroturf that all of our professional football players are playing on. These toxins can literally make you crazy. They build up in the body, in the tissues, and will cause a dysfunction. Our livers and our kidneys are detox organs. They were not used to the amount of toxins that we have now. And so our livers are just getting backed up. Okay, so I have the hamburger from McDonald's, and it's full of not just the crappy food, but it's the artificial ingredients and the heavy metals and the GMOs and the glyphosate. And then I'm drinking my water with fluoride and chlorine in it. And then I'm breathing the air with smog from Los Angeles or whatever. And all of these things are stacking up, and our liver's like, I can't do this anymore. Your liver is where you metabolize protein and fat. So if your liver's backed up with all of these toxins, including heavy metals, then it's not going to be able to metabolize the protein and build those tissues to build your biceps. So it all, and then this is the other thing people don't realize, is your cells, your fat cells, are a survival mechanism. They are designed to take all of these toxins, whether they're heavy metals, microplastics, radiation from our cell phones. What else? There's all of these things that are just getting into our body. They stuff these toxins into our fat cells. Well, guess what? If we run out of fat cells, then we have to make more fat cells, and then we have to make more fat cells. So people say, well, I'm eating only 1,200 calories a day. I'm on this Jenny Craig plan, and I'm still gaining weight. Doesn't make sense. Well, these heavy metals and these toxins also slow down your metabolism and your thyroid. So your metabolism's coming down. Your liver function is coming down. So you're not even able to break down the proteins that you are taking in to build the muscles and to give you energy. And their toxins are getting stored into your fat cells. So your body says, I'm sorry, I don't care what you're eating. I'm going to put more fat on your body. I've got to survive. And then it stresses the body. So this stress, on top of the stress about work or kids or finances, your body has its own internal stress fighting these toxins, increases cortisol in the body. Cortisol is a fat storing hormone. It's not meant to be running all the time. It's meant to run away from the tiger real quick and then rest, right? We are in an environment, in a world where we're constantly under chronic stress, physically, mentally, spiritually. And our bodies are also under a different level of stress from all of these toxins that they are trying to sift through, detox from, and find the good nutrients that we're taking in. So when we talk about diet, we're talking about not just the food we're eating, but the air we're breathing, the water we're taking in, the environmental toxins we're taking in. So you've got to look at all aspects of your diet for
Okay.
your overall health.
Wow. Okay. All right. So you said a lot of stuff there. First of all, I'm fascinated by this fat cells and rejuvenating the fats, or adding more fat cells, I should say, onto your body. So my first question when you were saying that, so then how do you get rid of the fat cells and the heavy metal? Is
You
that a
de-
fair question to say?
yes, because when you start detoxing properly with supplements and diet, and exercise, things like sauna, those types of things, your body says, oh, well, we are getting rid of these toxins. I don't need to hold on to these fat cells anymore. We're going to release the toxins and shrink the fat cells. So then your body starts tapping into the fat cells to burn
Okay.
for energy. Now you also need to look at the cellular health, the health, the cell's own health. And that's where supplements come in. Like number one is iodine, and the accelerating iodine is my number one supplement, because you need iodine not only for your thyroid. And yes, for those of you who have been told by their doctors that they should not take iodine or to be careful, that's a myth. I go into it on my website. I debunk that myth with studies. But every cell needs iodine. Every cell has iodine receptors. But more than that, you've got the cell membrane. That membrane of the cell, which is the brain of the cell, is made up of fat and iodine. It has an iodolipid value, meaning iodine and fat value. So how are you supposed to have healthy cell membranes without iodine? 96% of you listening, if you are not supplementing with iodine, you are deficient. 96% of you. Essentially everybody. It is not in our soils. It's not in our diet anymore. And we need to be getting it from supplementation. So you can use the iodine to help with that iodolipid value. But then the iodine also is needed inside the cell to increase ATP in the mitochondria. ATP is your energy. Who doesn't need more energy? Cellular energy, mental energy, physical energy in the gym, all of that. The amount of testimonials I have that are life-changing from people about just starting with the iodine is unlimited. That they're able, that the depression's going away, anxiety's going away, they've got energy to do stuff. But this is the great thing too about iodine, is outside the cell, it's devitalizing foreign pathogens like viruses, bacteria, fungus. It's cleaning the blood. It's detoxing you from heavy metals, fluoride, bromide, chlorine. So on the cell, you have iodine receptor sites. Now, if you don't have enough iodine in the body to fill those receptor sites, things like bromide and fluoride and chlorine are going to fit nicely into those receptor sites and fill them and cause more toxicity, more disease, more cancers, all of that stuff. So iodine supplementation has been shown to reduce breast cancer risk by 50%. And there's a reason for that. So the iodine will help with the detoxing. You can also use the accelerated cellular detox powder. So as we're detoxing, people say, well, I don't want to detox because I've done it before, and you get that detox flu symptom. Well, when you soak up the toxins with the accelerated cellular detox powder, it takes those toxins out of the body quickly and takes away the burden on the liver and the kidneys. So that those two are immensely important for detoxing on a daily basis. You can add in a supplement called Nuke No More, which helps detox the body from radiation. Now, who is not holding their cell phone as a part of their appendage, right? We all are. I
Oh,
am.
yes. Oh, yes.
Right? So it's part of our lives, and that radiation is causing cancer. It's causing disease. It's causing hypothyroidism. leaky gut, all of that. And so that is another thing where the accelerated Nuke No More helps detox the body from radiation. Now, you mentioned heavy metal detox. On my website, you'll see detoxes for heavy metals, for weight loss, for bladder cleanses, for colon cleanses, parasite cleanses, all of that. And all of these cleanses are important to address because if your system is not clean, if the pipes are not clean in the bottom, then the top stuff isn't going to get through. It's like your sink that's backed up, right? It's just you turn the water on and it's just going to fill up the sink because nothing's going down the drain. So the accelerated iodine and the accelerated cellular detox powder are a part of all of the cleanses. So they are the foundation. Now, when we talk about another aspect of detoxing, another tool, and you mentioned gut health. People are implementing fasting for gut health, for energy, for weight loss. There's some downsides to fasting and some pros to fasting. It turns on autophagy, it cleans up the gut and gives the gut time to heal. But it can cause a little bit of stress on the body. And if you're already stressed, that's not such a good thing. So I've come out with the accelerated fast. And the ingredients in this supplement, the accelerated fast, boosts the ATP in the cells, helps take off the stress off the body because it says, oh, well, I can learn to go right into my fat cells to burn for energy. I'm not stressed at all. And so it speeds up the metabolism, helps in weight loss, and it helps target that dangerous belly fat and liver fat. I take that. I take my accelerated iodine and my accelerated thyroid. I'll talk about that in a minute before my fasted workout. And like I mentioned, I'm an athlete. I work out hard. I lift weights. I do. I'll run sometimes. I'll throw in a rowing machine. I'll do hot yoga with weights, that sort of thing. I always do it fasted. And I get my energy from the accelerated fast and from the accelerated iodine that we talked on, and then accelerated thyroid. So most people are running around with low thyroid, especially after COVID. It is related to the liver. The liver is where your inactive thyroid hormone converts into your active thyroid hormone. And with that, if your liver's backed up, like we were talking about from the heavy metals, microplastics, the air that we're breathing, all that stuff, then your liver's not going to be able to convert the inactive into the active thyroid hormone. And then your metabolism suffers. You have this unexplained weight gain. You're constipated. You have brain fog. You're depressed. And you have no energy to go work out. So between the accelerated fast, the accelerated thyroid, and accelerated iodine, you boost that ATP, that mitochondrial health, that cellular energy that then gives you the energy to go work out. And then you feel amazing, right? And then you're going to follow it with a wild animal protein diet, focused on wild animal protein. And I can get into why wild in a minute. But the other thing that I've been doing as a 48-year-old woman to build muscle, and I've put on, I think in the last month or two, 5 pounds of muscle. So this works, is the Perfect Aminos amino acid supplement. I eat a ton of protein, but I really wanted to go after that lean bulk. And so when you provide your body with the essential amino acids, like from Perfect Aminos, which has 99% utilization by the body, it has no calories. You're giving your body the amino acids that support muscle breakdown and muscle recovery, and it's not breaking your fast. So here I am, I'm still in a fasted state. I'm still supporting my muscles and my brain during my workout. And then after my workout, I will have my meal. And usually it's, a couple bison burgers to really feed my muscles, not just with the protein and the essential amino acids, but the nutrient density that comes with wild animal protein. You don't get that with chicken, poultry, pork, conventionally raised beef, those proteins are full of the wrong inflammatory fats. They're full of proteins called amyloids. And this is new to our modern world. Chicken and this type of meat was not a problem 20 years ago. But because of the spike protein, because of the crowded nature of the way these animals are raised, their proteins get misfolded in these misfolded proteins, and then they get lodged into your brain, causing Alzheimer's, or in your tissues or in your gut, causing gut pathogens to take over and causing dysbiosis and gut issues. So they're not being used properly or effectively by your muscle tissues in your brain. So that's where the wild meat comes in.
Okay.
You can also use creatine, which is something that I've been playing around with. It's also known to help with your brain. It's known to promote muscle growth. You just will feel that extra pump in the gym if you start taking it. And it was a supplement that was meant, or really known for men only before. And it's been shown that women need it too. And they may even benefit more. It helps draw water into the muscle cells, and that can improve muscle size and fullness. It is very well researched. Now, should you take it without the proper protein? No, you need to be taking the protein, the perfect aminos, the wild animal protein diet. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick about the diet part, the wild animal protein, is it's got the ingredients in there that tells your gut to send a signal to your brain, I've had enough to eat. Don't binge. You don't need to go for that Ben and Jerry's. You don't need to go for that next slice of pizza. It's the only food that will do that. When you start eating processed foods, what that processed food tells your gut is, I want more. Don't just give me 5 potato chips. I want the whole bag. So there's a reason that processed foods have caused this weight problem in the country, in the world, because they are designed by these big food companies to trick the brain to want more and overeat. So those are some things. You mentioned also gut, and most people have leaky gut. So if you've got leaky gut, and that's where the intestinal walls have holes in it, and the food comes in, and before being digested or broken down can go through the walls, and the body has this huge autoimmune, exaggerated inflammatory responses. I don't understand what's going on here. Well, we want to heal the gut. That comes from fasting. That comes from things like the leaky gut bundle that I carry, where that is going to provide the proper spore biotics in your gut to feed your gut the right strains of probiotic that your gut needs, Andrew, which is different from mine. So it's very different than a regular probiotic. But then it's got the mega mucosa that heals that leaky gut. So now we want to make our gut more resilient, more healed, more sealed, so we can absorb the nutrients. But after 50, even after 40, most of us don't have the tools or the stomach acid to break down the proteins or the food into usable pieces of nutrients for our brain and our body. So I recommend using the HCl Guard and Holozyme. That is a combination of digestive enzymes that unravels the food and the protein so that it is efficiently turned into those little amino acids that can then be repackaged into things to build our bicep muscles or our hair or our nails, whatever it is. So that is a really important aspect of overall health and gut health, strength, fitness, energy. Lastly, I'll just mention salt. Salt has gotten a bad rap. Now, when they're talking about salt being bad for you, they're talking about refined salts that are usually full of those microplastics that we mentioned, and they're only sodium, stripped of all of the other minerals. Well, things like accelerated ancient salt is an unrefined salt. And what they've shown is just by putting a little pinch of salt in your coffee or your pre-workout, you're going to work out for an extra 21 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It actually helps with the energy because it's helping with intracellular hydration. So hydration inside the cell, which provides that real energy. You don't need calories to work out. You've got plenty of fat on your body to burn for that workout, right?
Agreed. Right.
We just need to tap into those fat stores, and our energy comes from cellular hydration. And just by drinking water, you can actually dehydrate yourself. So the accelerated ancient salt also helps release the toxins from the fat cells that we were talking about. So the fat cells are able to shrink and let go of those toxins that inhibit the weight loss, because as long as you have the toxins, the body's going to hold on to those fat cells. It's a survival mechanism. So you need that sodium, and you need the sodium and iodine together for what's called the sodium iodide symporter, which is used in thyroid hormone production, which is your metabolism, right? Your thyroid's your metabolism.
Right.
And then without enough sodium and iodine, your thyroid hormone production can suffer, which is going to affect your energy, your muscle protein synthesis, and metabolism. So those are my key supplements and diet recommendations. Like I go back to from what we've started out with, you want to focus though on whole food as that priority.
Okay. Now, man, you've thrown out a whole bunch of stuff through all this stuff, and obviously you're way more intelligent about this than I am. I got to dumb it down to a third grade level for myself to make it easy to understand everything else. Now, something you said really intrigued me when you said put a little bit of salt in your coffee. Now, I'm going to assume, because my mind instantly went to a salt shaker, put in your coffee. That is not what you're talking about, correct?
I'm talking about using the accelerated ancient salt. You can also use supplements called like Quintessential, which I carry, and that is a full spectrum mineral balance. So essentially it's seawater diluted and cleaned, of course, because our plasma and our bodies are essentially the same composition of minerals as the seawater or as unrefined salt. So it comes in the ratios of the minerals and electrolytes that our bodies need.
Okay. Fantastic. Now, I only asked for a half hour of your time, and we're almost up. So you've thrown a lot of stuff at us here. Fantastic stuff. And I got to listen to this 3 or 4 times and take notes on it. If somebody wanted to find all these products, find all these supplements that you're talking about, tell us where they can find them, or how they can contact you, and where you can, and different places where you can be found. Go ahead.
Sara Banta Health has everything. SaraBantaHealth.com. That's Sara without an H, SARA. And I've got my free group coaching. So if you're like, I'm so overwhelmed with what she just said, join my free group coaching. You'll learn on a daily basis, ask your questions, or you can even email me through the website. I'm happy to put together a protocol for you. My podcast, Accelerated Health TV and radio show, it's on over 100 platforms. iHeart, Apple, Stitcher, all of it. So anywhere you are listening to podcasts, I'm there. And join the free group coaching. There's no downside. It's free.
At SaraBantaHealth.com. I will link to everything in the show notes. Don't worry about that. Accelerated Health TV and radio show. All these places that you're on, everything else. And believe me, folks, her podcast is fantastic. Now, you've heard me mess up and butcher a lot of stuff. My audience is used to this kind of stuff. So for me, at least, they're not used to refined technical stuff like you're saying, which is out of this world, is fantastic, which is what I need, especially. I just like to keep things at a simple level for myself. So every so often I need to kick in the pants and say, hey, you need to understand this in a more advanced level, which you just gave us a crash course in, which is fantastic. Thank you for all that. So I know 30 minutes is up. I'm going to stop it here. Well, thank you for being my guest. SaraBantaHealth.com. Check it out. Watch this. Listen to it again. All kinds of stuff. I mean, she was throwing pearl after pearl after pearl out for us here. This is fantastic. Sara, thank you so much for being a guest on Top Fitness Strategies. Any parting words you'd like to tell anybody right at this point?
Every disease is reversible. So whatever your symptoms are, I've seen the body do miracles. So don't give up. Contact me. I'll help put together a protocol for you and get you on the right foot.
Fantastic. That's SaraBantaHealth.com. Link to it in the show notes. Thanks for being here, Sarah. My name is Andrew. This is Top Fitness Strategies, the podcast. You know where to find me and all that good stuff. If you ever want to get in touch with Sarah, feel free to go over there, sarabantahealth.com. And if you don't remember that, contact me. I'll get word to her. No problem. So again, Sarah, thanks for being my guest. My name is Andrew. Top Fitness Strategies. I am the face who runs the place. So until next time, ciao.